Scandals are pretty common in the athletic world. Still, it's always an unpleasant surprise when your favorite athlete is in the middle of one. Brooklyn Nets fans got the short end of the deal this time as Kyrie Irving, one of their best players, made a post containing tropes against the Jews. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Kyrie Irving getting suspended for a post containing anti-Semitic views, so stay tuned. First, let's take a look at Nets player Kyrie Irving getting suspended. The Brooklyn Nets have been having a bit of a tumultuous few seasons recently, and it seems like they just can't set a perfect rotation that'll give them a fighting chance in the NBA again, despite their pretty high-profile roster. And now, another one of their players has gotten himself into trouble, and it's on a pretty sensitive matter. Kyrie Irving has been suspended by the Brooklyn Nets for at least 5 games with no pay last Thursday because of his alleged anti-Semitic beliefs. Their exact statement claimed that they were disappointed to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. The player had previously refused to apologize about a social media post featuring a book and a movie that had anti-Semitic tropes during a post-practice media session. The Nets ended up saying that he was currently unfit to be associated with the team, and he was forced to apologize for his post. According to them, they were dismayed that Irving didn't clarify that he had no anti-Semitic beliefs or acknowledged the hateful material in the film, especially when he had the opportunity to do so. What's more, they declared that his behavior was against their organization's values and that his conduct was detrimental to the team. Now, for Irving issuing an apology regarding his post. Irving posted an apology just 4 hours after his suspension was announced, something NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, among others, would have preferred sooner. He wrote an Instagram post directed toward Jewish families and communities he had hurt and apologized for the pain he had caused. He claimed that he had reacted out of emotion due to being labeled anti-Semitic, but should have paid attention to the healing of the Jewish people after the documentary's hurtful lines. He said he had no intention of disrespecting cultural history about the Holocaust and shouldn't have posted about the documentary without clarifying the context or any factual explanation regarding his views. He also said he was learning from the event and hoped to find understanding. The player then acknowledged that he thought the movie had false anti-Semitic narratives and took responsibility for his actions. That said, the Nets didn't shield him even a bit and made it clear that they had made many attempts to get the point guard to make an apology earlier. Next up, Irving and the Nets are donating $500,000 to anti-hate causes. Kyrie was dead set on his claim and said that while some things were untrue in the movie, he didn't once say that he shouldn't have posted a link to it. In fact, he doubled down on it by saying that he wasn't the one who made the documentary. He claimed that he couldn't be anti-Semitic if he knew where he came from. The Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, however, had things to say about the player. He pointed out that the answer to a question about being anti-Semitic should only be a hard no. He also added that the community believed the player when he said he was sorry, but didn't make good on his promise, and there was obviously still a lot of work he had to do. After the Nets announced his suspension, things didn't get any better. Greenblatt pointed out that the ADL couldn't accept his and the Nets' $500,000 donation because he clearly felt no accountability for his actions. What's more, NBA Commissioner weighs in on the situation. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver also condemned the player's lack of proper response and refusal to denounce the vile and harmful content in the film he gave a platform to. He also mentioned that he would be meeting the player in person within the next week. This isn't looking good for the Nets because it's the second consecutive season they've sent him out of the team, the last time being his refusal to get the COVID-19 vaccine. He was banned from home games and was only able to return after New York lifted the vaccine mandate for athletes and performers in March. He only made the matter worse by asking reporters why they didn't ask him about black people's history in America. Lastly, Kyrie talks about his heritage and the Holocaust. Irving said that he wasn't going to stand down for the same people who weren't ready to ask those questions when he was just a kid learning about the traumatic events relating to his familial history, the same history he was proud to come from and stand in front of everyone. He said that just because he said that he wasn't going to stand down, people thought that he was dismissing another race because that was far from his intention. Instead, he was just showing that he was proud of his heritage and what they've all been through. He didn't like the fact that this made it look like he was against the Jews, which led him to answer questions of whether he was sorry for his actions or not. In Kyrie's eyes, he shouldn't be blamed for something he didn't make but only shared. The man was also asked about what he thought of the Holocaust. While referring to the film, he said that he wasn't a big fan of falsehoods and believed in the Holocaust. To him, this was an event that to a large group of people meant something horrible that could have been avoided. The basketball player also said that he never said anything that implied that he agreed with the contents of the film regarding the Holocaust. Still, whatever his intentions, his actions hurt a lot of people, and as a result of his suspension, he'll be missing, at the very least, 3 road games. Now in other news. First up, Kyrie's actions were a shock to fans and teammates alike. Nobody is quite ready to care about the effect of a scandal on the career of the man in question, but it's always a pity to see the team and organization taking the brunt of another's questionable morals, not to mention the betrayal felt by everybody that worked with him and the fans. But if there's one thing worse, it's realizing not only the man you trusted didn't deserve it, but also refusing to see his mistake. The NBA boss Adam Silver has been constantly pushing for the basketball player to apologize, but the 30-year-old is adamant about not issuing one, at least not the one that clearly shows he understands what he did wrong and is sorry for his actions. The 30-year-old claimed that just because he posted the link, it doesn't mean he held any prejudice against the Jews, and to show that he had nothing against them, he tried to donate about $500,000 to groups that are working to eradicate hate. Following up, the ADL refused to accept his donations. He even admitted that the film had a negative effect on the Jews, but his refusal to give a proper apology has put him in a bad light for the majority of people. Plus, it also led to the Anti-Discrimination League rejecting the basketball player's donations. They didn't stop there, and instead shot back the man regarding his failure to apologize. Jonathan Greenblatt, the ADL CEO, also posted a tweet. He wrote that, at first, they'd been optimistic, but after watching the press conference, it became obvious that the man had failed to hold himself accountable for his actions and actually realize his mistake, so they absolutely refused to accept the donation. Jonathan also tweeted about how he supported the punishment given to the 30-year-old. He said that it was good for the team that he was suspended. After all, the man had been given a clear-cut opportunity to apologize for what he did, and instead, he made excuses at every turn and failed to do the right thing. His suspension was well-deserved. Last but not least, the Nets released a statement regarding Kyrie's action. Now, after all this, all there's left to do is for Kyrie to finally realize exactly what was wrong with what he did. After all, better late than never. Many will probably not forgive him for what he did, especially since he still hasn't done it, but a late apology will always be better than none. The team, too, said that they were extremely dismayed over the man's actions and his refusal to acknowledge them. In the statement, they said that he had had several opportunities to clarify and take back his words, but never did. They also said that the failure to disown anti-Semitism, even when given these opportunities, was extremely disturbing and was against the values that were honored in their organization. The statement continued on, saying that the team currently viewed him as unfit to continue working with them. Of course, it will cause a great setback for them, but they can't just let him back onto the court after that. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about the Nets' decision to suspend Kyrie Irving? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.